This is the Byzantine Coin Podcast, where we celebrate and discuss all things numismatic from the Byzantine era of the Roman Empire. My name is Kyle Bolin, and this is episode 22. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope everybody had a safe and wonderful holiday. And It's been a busy time for me here, both with my day job, my real job, and of course the holidays and making the magic happen. So it's been crazy, but I was hoping to get an episode out before the Heritage Byzantine Spotlight sale, but I wasn't able to do so. So today we're going to go through that Spotlight sale and look at the offerings there and a selection of some of the coins and see where they ended up. I also wanted to do an update on the forgery that we talked about in the last episode that we did. And this was a Manuel the First Electrum Aspron Trachy. It was 2.2 grams. It had been shaved down. It had graffiti on it. I bought this at the Summer Fun Show. I cracked it out, looked at it, and decided it wasn't right for my collection, and decided to consign it to CNG. And CNG came back and said it was a brass forgery. I then provided the NGC details as well as the previous heritage auction. But thinking about it and thinking about the coin, I would agree with them that that is the case. And CNG did check with Barry Murphy on this, and Barry said that it was a known forgery. So I went back to the dealer that I purchased it from and asked what the policy is on this because it was me who broke it out of the slab. I'm happy to say the dealer, it's Perry Siegel from Heracles Numismatics. Awesome guy, knows his stuff. He agreed to take it back with no problem. I sent him the interaction with CNG. But I've done a fair amount of business with him in the past, and he always has a great selection of coins, and he's always at most of the major shows, and he's just awesome to deal with. I'll tell you another quick story with Perry. In I think 2019, I went to the ANA, and I only bought one coin there, and it was a Julius Caesar denarius with the elephant on it, and I bought it from Perry. And I came back and I went to redeposit the money I had taken out, and I was $100 short. And I was like, I didn't buy any other coins. Where did the other $100 go? I didn't spend any money. So I reached out to Perry and asked him if he happened to have an extra $100 bill, and he went back through and looked at the transaction and had the money separate and recounted it. And lo and behold, there was an extra $100 there that neither one of us saw when we counted the money. And he was very honest about it. And he said, "Yeah, I'm happy to give that back to you." And I said, how about we just keep it as a credit for the next purchase, which I did end up purchasing something from him. But integrity goes a long way in this business, and he's one of the best. So I didn't want to use his name until I talked to him about this because I was fully prepared to. I guess eat it because I took it out of the slab, and I know that there are a lot of different dealers out there that said, "Well, you take it out of the slab, it's on you. You've um, eh, materially changed the coin that was purchased." But Perry was great about it. He was like, "Yeah," and he apologized, and I said, "There's really no reason to apologize. It fooled NGC, it fooled Heritage, it fooled me. It's totally understandable." So he was super cool about it, and I can't recommend doing business with him enough. He's great to work with. So that's the update on that. I am going to pick it up at New York International. I plan on being at New York International for 2 days, probably Thursday and Friday, leaving Saturday. It's my favorite show of the year. I'm excited to see what's out there. I know Fun is happening the week before, but I'm unable to sort of do two shows like that in a row. So I'm excited to go down there, and I'm also very excited that Nomos has once again invited me to the American Numismatic Society gala dinner. which was awesome last year. It was, everybody in the numismatic field getting together to raise money for the American Numismatic Society. It was a tremendous event, and I'm really excited to attend it again this year as their guest. So thank you very much to them. Looking forward to it and spending some time with that team as well. I'm excited for New York International. I'll be there for 2 days. I'm really hoping to connect with everybody out there. And if you're not going, I highly encourage you to go because it is, even if you're not buying anything, the level of quality at the New York International, it's top of the line. It's all the best coins that are available from dealers that are not in auctions right now. And there's some great stuff from European dealers, great stuff from American dealers out there. So if you can attend, definitely, even if it's just for the day or whatever, just try to get in there because it's really awesome. And hopefully, I'll see some of you. So I'm very excited about that. Um, with that, let's take a look at the recent heritage sale. Hold on a second. Here we go. So Heritage had, let's see, it was 310 coins, mostly gold, that they had in this Byzantine spotlight auction. And I really wanted to do a review of this beforehand, but I just could not get the time together to record. Um, it had some interesting stuff, and we're going to talk about it. I mean, like I said, there was a lot of duplicates of Heraclius, Constantine the Fourth, Constance the Second. I have a feeling a lot of them, like I said before, it came from the Loy auctions in the summer, where they had a whole mess of those things that they were releasing. Most of the coins, well, I shouldn't say most, but a lot of the coins from Heritage's auctions come from the European auctions, and then they slab them and resell them in their auctions. Now, of course, they have auctions that are coming from different collections and different things like, or coins that are coming from different collections and things like that. Um, but Byzantine coins come from Europe. They come from the Middle East. They're not coming from Texas. So uh, yeah. So there's a lot of these that I suspect were from the Loyal. I haven't had the time to sort of line them up to see if that's the case, but it's what I suspect. But there was some really interesting stuff in there, and the first one I wanted to talk about was let's see, where is it here? This one. So I got a note on the YouTube channel from Cameron Hinsley. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. And he wanted to talk about this coin that recently auctioned, and I was horribly embarrassed to say I didn't notice it. I didn't know it was there. Um, this is an exceptionally rare, almost well, it's not unique, but it's an exceptionally rare Constantine the Fourth lightweight solidus of 23 silica. Um, there is only one other known. It's in the American Numismatic Society collection. There are only three known lightweight solid eye of Constantine the Fourth, two with are 20 silica types with BOXX on them. Those two are in the Hermitage in St. Petersburg, Russia. And then there is one of 23 in the American Numismatic Society collection. Um, I went through this collection, and this is the danger when you have a lot of duplicates in a collection of the same type. I mean, there's a bunch of these sort of Constantine the Fourth that are in rough condition, and I just went through it and I missed it. Um, and that's a real danger when you have a bunch of coins like that that are similar and sort of sort of not poor, but medium quality, let's say. And things can get missed. I was planning on going through the results of this, but I had a number of coins that I had tagged and saved, but this wasn't one of them. And good on Heritage for calling this coin out because if you look at it, NGC does not. NGC calls this a standard solidus, 4.28 grams, and they make it clipped with some graphito, and they gave it a crappy surface grade. And it's not anything amazing condition wise, but this is an ultra rarity. Um, and Heritage calls it out, which is great. They rightfully recognize it as Sear 1158A, which is a solidus of 23 silica. They say Sear marks this type as extremely rare, unfound on sales archives. That's all very true. But I mean, it ended up commanding a $9,000 hammer, right? I think with that includes the buyer premium. So whatever the hammer was on that, if you subtract 20%, it's sort of a little frustrating that it shows it with the buyer premium, but they paid $9,000 for it, which in my opinion is a steal. I think that this is, there's only one other of these known. It's in a museum collection. If you were collecting these coins, um, this is your chance to get one of the lightweight, and you can tell it's lightweight. It's by the star in the reverse field. You can see it there. But NGC doesn't call that out, and thankfully, Heritage did, or this would have gone unnoticed and just transacted as a standard Constantine the Fourth beat up Solidus, and probably gotten $800 for a hammer on that. Um, this is an incredible coin, and it's the second known. So very very cool. Congratulations to Heritage for rightly cataloging this. And actually, part of me is actually really glad that I didn't notice this because I would have spent the last 30 days obsessing over it, hoping I could get it cheap, um, trying to pull resources together, for a stretch bid. And frankly, I don't think I could have gone to $9,000 on this. So that would be sort of out of what I could do right now, even though I think it's fully worth that, maybe and more, with the right kind of understanding of how unique this actually is. So um, it's just an incredible coin and one that I'm shocked that I didn't notice. And thank you for bringing it to my attention. And whoever got this, I think, got themselves something very special. So that was the first thing I wanted to highlight in the Heritage sale. Continuing on, I thought prices were pretty strong, but this one I thought went for a decent pricing on it. This is a Justin the First, possibly Justin the Second Tremesis. Nice details on this with the toning. It kind of brings it out, in my opinion. They didn't give it a really great grade, but it's part of the historical scholar collection. And I think 630 all in on this is actually a pretty good price on that. Moving forward, we have this Justin the Second lightweight. No, I'm sorry, not lightweight, just regular Justin the Second Solidus. And let's see what it was 4.55 grams, so it's a heavy one. They had it mint state 405 with an edge cut. Nice portrait on this, really nice portrait. I hate that you can't. I try to highlight the photo and it automatically goes to a zoom. That's frustrating. Okay, I'll try not to do that. But a nice portrait. But 1320 for this, in my opinion. I mean, it's a nice portrait, but there's weakness on the reverse. There's a lot of sort of there's an edge issue there. 1320 seems like a very strong price for this for the consigner. I feel like it might be too much money on that, but um, that's going to be the recurring theme here on a lot of stuff. There's some stuff that I was really surprised that it went as strong as it did. Next up is this Tiberius the Second Solidus, 4.46 grams. A really nice one. Strike of five, surface 405, mint state. Um, it's a nice coin. There's no doubt about it. but I don't think it's a $1,900 coin. I mean, I think you could get these, you know, well, a while ago, I guess a while ago, everything was cheaper, but um, you could get these in a mint state holder and spend $700 or $800 on them. I think $1,000 to $1,200 is sort of where I would want to land on something like this. 1920. I mean, of course, it's with the buyer's premium. Um, that seems high. So that's a strong price. There was another one too. This is also Tiberius the second, and it's also in a mint state holder. Again, 4.5 grams, so it's full weight. It's a little off center. This has a nice strike on it and a nice portrait, but um, at $1,800 all in, that feels high for this. Feels very high. I would be again at like $1,000 to $1,200 on this. This is a Maurice Tiberius lightweight solidus of 23 silica. It is 4.31 grams, 22 millimeter flan. This is in a mint state holder, but it's a pretty common coin. I bought one of these and sold one of these. I bought one of these maybe 2 years ago and spent $700 on it. And I think I sold it for like $900 or something like that. I can't remember. This sold for $1,560 with the buyer's premium. Too much money for this coin. It's a nice coin, no doubt about it, but people are paying up for um, the plastic grades on these things. It's obvious that that's what it is. So, yeah, it's another strong price. This is another Maurice Tiberius. This is also an immense state 405, surface 405 holder, a lightweight solidus of 23 silica. This one is off center as well. Um, this one went for 1320 all in. I don't understand that. To me, that's way too much money for this. Another Maurice Tiberius. This is one that I was targeting, and unfortunately, this sale was kicking off at 8 o'clock at night, and I was dealing with a rather hectic, sugar-fueled bedtime for my kids at that exact time, and it of course dragged on to like 9, um, and then I remember the auction. By the time I got to it, I think they were already like at Tiberius the third or something like that. I had missed a lot of these. And I was a little bummed that I'd missed this because this was on my target list. Now they have this as Maurice Tiberius, solidus, 4.37 grams, Antioch question mark, facing bust, reverse angel with a P cross. They have it clipped, but choice AU 5 of 5, surface 5 of 5. This is an older NGC holder. I don't know if that makes any difference. But this coin is not Antioch. This coin is a Roman mint coin. And you can tell from the P on the reverse. Let me see if I can click on this to see if that can. There, that's a little bit better. So you can see on the legend there is a P at the end of it, and a P denotes the Roman mint. It's the Greek letter for rho, and the style on the angel or winged victory is consistent with other Roman mint Maurice Tiberius solidi. Um, Somebody must have known this because it seems what happened here? There it is. Because it seems no, what I'm missing it. Hold on a second. I'll get it back here in a sec. Here it is. I mean, it went for 1920 with the buyer's premium, and I think the bid on this was 1600. Now, had I been able to watch this auction in real time, maybe I don't know that I would have gone higher than that because um I mean, one of these just sold in the Loy sale for like $4,600. Um, Typically, I've seen these sell for between 2,500 and 3,000, let's say. Um, so there is some money still left to be made there, but I feel like if you didn't know that this was had the Rome mint and you paid $1,920 for it, that's way too much money for this. So somebody must have known. We've talked about these in the past, and so unfortunately, I missed this one, and I might have gone an increment higher than that, but um, it still felt like more than I wanted to sort of pay, knowing what I knew on it. So yeah, whoever got this, you have a Rome Mint Maurice Tiberius Solidus. Um, that's in a improper. It's not in the right holder. So congratulations. That's a nice coin, and I even at 1920, I mean, I think you could easily make $500 or $600 on this if you put it up for auction with the right cataloging on it. So next coin. This is a Focus Solidus. Ay, ay, ay. It is. Oh, God, it's so annoying. 4.34 grams. They're calling it clipped with graffiti. It seems to have even well, it has an edge bend as well, but it looks like a punch mark almost on it. Yeah, that looks like a punch mark. Um, but the style on this suggests that it might not be from Constantinople and it might be from a provincial mint. The style is a little bit different. The beard is thicker. But I don't know what mint that it would be, but it is an interesting style, and I believe that there's a possibility this is cataloged incorrectly as Constantinople, and it only went for $780. Another Focus. This one is in a mint state 405 holder. It is off center. It's nice, but it's off center. This went for $1,800 with the buyer premium. That's like $1,000 too much for this coin. That's a very strong price, but not one that I would pay. Heraclius. This is early in his reign when it was just him. The portraiture is very similar to uh, the previous Emperor Phocas. This was in a mint state 5 of 5 holder at 4.48 grams. Um, and this went for $2,400. Again, too much money for this. Yeah, okay. You want the 5 of 5 and you're buying the plastic. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And you'll probably, you might get your money back on it. But 2,400, I mean, this is like, in my opinion, a 800 to $1,000 coin. Again, it's off center. It's nice, but it's off center. I don't know. I wouldn't pay that much money for it. Now, I'll tell you a quick story. Yeah, a couple of years back, I bought the same type, and it was Mint State 5 of 5, Surface 4 of 5 with a star. And I chased it up to $2,600, and it was like at a stacks auction. But I was chasing the star. It was early in my sort of ancient career, and I had star sickness. Um, I owned it for a while and consigned it back to Heritage in like 2023 or 2024. I can't remember when it was, but and in that auction, it sold for I think 1,400. I lost like $1,200 on that coin. Um, so only a couple of years ago, one of these that was nicer with a star went for $1,400. Now this one's getting 24. So auctions, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's really who's showing up when, and their motivations are their own, right? Um, so you never know what's gonna happen. But this is too much money for that coin. It's a strong price for sure. Next up, this is a Heraclius and Heraclius Constantine and Heraclonus. I call these the three emperor coins or the three king coins. Um, This went for 1680. This was in a mint state 505, 405 holder. There were a lot of these in this auction. And I, you know, it's a nice coin and it's in great shape, but the strike on this, it just the dies seem worn on it. I don't know. So 1680, that's a strong price. Strong price for this coin. Here's another one that catched 1680 all in. And this one was in a choice AU holder. And arguably, I think it was nicer than the last one. But still, there's still, issues on some of these things. And 1680 is a strong price for this coin. I would pay, I would pay between 700 and 1,000 for this. And they're so ubiquitous. They are very common. So unless there's something that makes it uncommon, whether it is exceptional pedigree or something fascinatingly different about it, you're paying up for a very common coin. And I think you'd be hard pressed to get your money back on that. So strong price for sure. I mean, again, what do I know? I've been covering these auctions here with everyone for like the last year and a half, maybe. And I make these predictions and I'm like, ooh, some of these things are going for huge money. And, so I'm often very wrong. Another one, 1440. I felt like, again, a strong price for this. This is an a mint state holder. It is clipped at 4.41 grams, which, in my opinion, 4.41 grams is, you know, a, in the paint for what is a full weight coin, but they're calling it clipped. And this went for 1440. Strong price. Let's move to Constance the Second. This is a Constance the Second, 4.47 grams. This is the type, let's see, it's a younger bust style. It's in a mint state 405, surface 405 holder. Went for 1560. I think you can get these for between 800 and $1,000. Maybe even less sometimes. Um, so that was a strong price. And of course, remember this is also with the buyer's premium baked in. So, maybe it's not as strong as I think it is. Um, but 1560 to pay that all in on this. Plus you got shipping still too on top of it. Yeah, that's a lot of money for this. This was another Constance the Second Solidus. This was, let's see, 4.48 grams in a Choice AU 505, 405 holder. This had a really nice style and really nice centering to it. It was one of the ones that I was sort of watching. And again, clearly other people were as well because it went for $1,800 all in, which is a lot of money for this coin. But it was a standout compared to some of the other ones, just from a style perspective. It has a vibe about it that I really like. So, somebody paid up for it, but this was one of the nicer ones of the offerings of this type. This is another Constance the Second. This is the Four Emperors type. These are rarer, and there are issues at the end of his reign. This one's not in the greatest of shape. It's clipped. It's got graffiti. But these are rarer, and if you wanted to get this type um, as a filler or it, it ended up going for 960, which I thought was actually a pretty good price for this. Yeah, it has some issues, but it's a rare type for sure. Um, so that was that I thought might have been a deal. This one I thought was pretty good too. It's got a nice sort of look to it. It's fully centered. This is a Constantine the Fourth Solidus, 4.29 grams. Choice AU, 405, 305 brushed and clipped. I mean, it's underweight, right? Um, but I think that this was a fair price for it. And it kind of had a nice look to it. You know, looks good in the holder as well. Another Constantine the Fourth. This was, sort of a beat up one. It looks like it's been double struck. Let's see what they call it out here. Clipped edge marks and a die shift. Yeah, 4.23 grams. So it is light. It's a rarely seen officina with the eye. So I was kind of keeping my eye on this. I thought it went for 780. I thought was a very good price for this. Moving on to Justinian II. This is a Solidus, 20 millimeters, 4.31 grams. They're calling this mint state 405, 305 edge bend. They're calling it clipped. Okay. Odd for some odd reason, they're not calling it clipped, even though, I mean, it's a full flan. There's no doubt about it, but it's lightweight. Usually, if it's lightweight, they just give it a clip designation. They're calling they're calling out an edge bend. It's a really nice portrait. These early portraits of Justinian II typically command a pretty a nice premium, and uh, and they are rare. This one went for $2,400 for the buyer's premium, which is about where it probably should have landed. Maybe a little strong, but a nice young portrait of Justinian II, and they are very rare. This is a Justin. This is a Justinian II Tremesis from the first reign, and it's got a nice portrait of Christ on it, both on the obverse and reverse. This is a nice coin. NGC gave this an AU 405, surface 205 wrinkled grade, but it's got a really nice portrait to it. Let's see if I can zoom in on the portrait there a little bit. Yeah, it's a nice portrait of Christ for a Tremesis. And see if I can get the reverse now. No, let's see here. There we go. And you have a worn portrait of the emperor, but still a nice strike on it. And they don't come this good that often. So, what did this ended up? It sold for 33.60 with the buyer's premium. Strong price in my opinion for that, but it was a decent example of that for sure. Next up is a Tiberius III Solidus, 4.4 grams, 19 millimeters. They're calling it Mint State 405, 305, brushed and clipped. This sold for 1860 with the buyer's premium. Nice portrait. Tiberius III typically has really nice portraits on his coins. Some of them can command serious money, but I thought that this was a strong price for this. But I guess given the current environment, um, of prices going up, I guess I can understand where uh, this one came in at 1860 all in. So we skip a couple hundred years here, and we go to Constantine the Seventh and Romanus the Second. Solidus of 4.44 grams and a choice AU 5 of 5, 5 of 5 holder. No notations on it. I wasn't overly impressed with this coin. If you look at it, okay, it's nice. But $2,880 all in is probably that's strong. That's a strong price. I mean, and it's a decent coin. It's I've certainly seen better, but there's not a lot wrong with this one either. So, but these are commanding strong prices, and the later we get, the stronger the prices. Late Byzantine, I was astonished by some of the prices that some of the Skyfate examples were commanding when we're going to go through them. This one, Constantine the Eighth, Histomenon, 4.36 grams, mint state 5 of 5, 4 of 5, clipped. Nice example. It is not a $3,100 example. You can get these coins between, I want to say, 1,500 and high end types 2,500 in that range. So yeah, this seems like a pretty strong price for this one. And then there was another one too, which is always surprising when there's two of the same type in an auction. And this one is Minsight 4555. Is there any notation on it? No notation on that. This one went for 3360. So two of the same type are both commanding over $3,000, and I think this one maybe you have an argument that well it could command something in the 2,500 to $3,000 range. It's full weight, it's nice, but I think that this is again strong money for this coin. This one was really strong. This is a Romanus the third. This is in a Choice AU 5 of 5 holder, 4.42 grams, so it's full weight. It's a nice coin. It's struck up. There's is an edge pop on it, which they don't call out on it, but not that big of a deal. But $3,840 for this coin, all in, I I think that's way too much money. I think unless there's something going on with the coin that I just don't know about. Like, okay, it had okay. I mean, it's got some provenance to 1988 to a CNG sale, an early CNG sale, which is cool. So maybe it's got some earlier provenance in that. I just that seems just like it just seems exceptionally strong. You could get these for I mean, for the best of the best, 2,000 to $2,500. I mean, but typically, I think I could get this coin for like 1,000 to $1,500. I don't in the past. I don't know. And maybe the holder helped it with the 5 and the 5 and 5. And it looks nice there, but it's not almost $4,000 nice. I'll tell you that. So strong prices. This is another one that was very strong. Constantine the Ninth, Mint State 5 of 5, Surface 4 of 5, 4.4 grams. Um, this is a common type. It's a nice shape. There's some edge hits on it. It looks like a little bit here you can see it on the obverse at about 9 o'clock, but they don't call that out. So it's in the right holder and it's a nice coin, but paying almost 2,900. I bet you once you get shipping involved that this is a $3,000. This is not a $3,000 coin. Um, I mean, I shouldn't say that because somebody paid it. So clearly it is a $3,000 coin, but I think you can get this coin, maybe not necessarily in a 5 of 5 Choice AU holder, but you can get a comparable coin of comparable quality, and I think you could pay between $1,500 and $2,000, and that's retail. But again, what do I know? Prices are high on these things, and here's another one. This is the same type, um, and this one was in a Choice AU 5 of 5 holder. So it's in the same exact holder. This went for 2280. So the one before this was 2880, and this one was 2280. Again, still very strong for this. They're not calling out some of the rough edges on it, which is, I guess, normal for these things. Rough edges are part of it, but there's a little flan crack on it. I don't know. I wouldn't pay 2280 for this, but uh, yeah, strong prices. This one, Constantine the 10th, uh, 2880 for this. Mint State. Oh, okay. So it's a Mint State 5 of 5, 5 of 5. It's got pedigree to Vinchon, 1997. So it's got a little pedigree and it's in the right holder. But again, almost $3,000 all in for this. This is like, I mean, like a couple years ago, you get this for like $600. I mean, I know I keep going back to what things were a couple years ago and what they are now, but yeah, you can get this coin. You can get a comparable coin. It's nice. It's a nice example. You can get a comparable coin. you know, 1,500 bucks max. I don't know. So 2880 for that all in. Another Constantine the 10th. This one was $1,800. Not a 505, 505, 405, 505. So somebody paid $1,800 for this one and 2880 for this one. And all the difference was is there was an extra tick up on the strike. I mean, they're comparable coins. I'm much more comfortable with $1,800. I mean, for something like this than 2880. But yikes. Alexius, and this one not in the right holder. 405, 205, bent edge cribs, graffito. That's a nice strike though on it. And this went for $1,800, which I thought was strong, but understandable, I guess. Um, so those late Byzantine coins are going for a lot of dough. They're very popular right now. Here's another one. This one, I'm not really quite sure what was the driver on this. This is a John Komnenos, John the Second, Electron Aspirin Tracky. You got Mint State 405, Surface 405. Um, it's a 3.76 grams, which is a little bit lighter weight. This went for 2160. Uh, Again, this you can get better examples for way less. So I don't know. Not really sure what. I mean, I'm pretty sure I understand what the driver on this was, and it's the holder. But to me, I don't know. I can't even fathom coming close to paying almost $2,200 for this coin. So that was the Heritage sale, the Spotlight sale. Very successful. I would say most of the average gold coins out there were hammering between 700 and $900, um, which is good because I think they're with at gold at $4,400. I think you're typically looking at about $650 worth of gold. I mean I don't have the exact calculations, and so I'm just throwing out some very round numbers. But yeah, gold content on these things are about $650. So, uh, yeah, very strong prices. And that Constantine the Fourth lightweight solidus, that's amazing. The only concern I would have on that is clearly it's a new one that's come to market, and are there five others that were found with it? And if so, what does that do to the pricing? That's the only concern that I have when anything sort of amazingly rare comes to market that's never really been seen before. Is it's clearly a new find, and um, sometimes those new finds you've got a few others coming down the pipe, and you don't want to be the first person to buy one, and then five more come to market because you'll never get your money back on that kind of stuff. Um, and that does happen. I've seen that happen. But uh, it's a second known of that type, and it's the only one in private hands. So if you want a lightweight Solidus of Constantine the Fourth, that's the one that you have to buy. So I think that with the right framing, and like I said, Heritage called it out, but I don't think they realized how rare it was. With the right kind of framing, I could see that going for a lot more money. So anyway, looking forward to New York International. Looking forward to connecting with everybody. I really appreciate the great feedback on the episodes. Um, and yeah, I'm looking forward to giving a review of the New York International on the next podcast, and hopefully can report that I've sold a few things and bought a few things, and we'll see what happens. Triton is coming up. Triton's got some great stuff. We covered that in the last episode. They also have an e-sale that came out with some really cool stuff. So keep an eye out. There's also an upcoming sale with Stax Bowers that has some interesting stuff in it. Maybe we'll go through that after that. Hammers as well. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you on episode 23. Take care.